WrestleMania 36 night 1. Oh my god. I have no words. So the show just ended as I'm recording this right at 10 o'clock. So it was a legitimate 3-hour show. It started at 7 and ended at 10 o'clock. 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 3 hours. This will go down in history no matter which way you slice it, no matter how you might feel about this show, as the most unique and strange WrestleMania in history. One thing we can appreciate is that we're never going to have a WrestleMania like this again. I don't think this is ever going to happen. Obviously, this show took place, the majority of it, from the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, and it was shot over a period of 2 days. And they split the matches up between night 1 and night 2, but we didn't know what the matches were until as the show was starting. At least I didn't see a lineup beforehand. And so here's the thing about this show. It's not going to go down as being one of the great all-time WrestleManias. In fact, it's going to go down as being one of the worst of all time. But there's weird things to appreciate about this show. Weird and unusual things. We're going to talk about the Boneyard match here in a minute, but first I want to say that the only 2 title changes on this show were the women's tag belts change hands. Alexa Bliss and Nikki defeated the Kabuki Warriors in the opener, in a pretty decent opener. And then the Universal title changed hands as Braun Strowman beat Goldberg with 4 of the power slams he does to become the Universal Champion, winning his first top world title in WWE. Now, I thought they were going to have Goldberg win and kind of preserve his victory over The Fiend and over Braun Strowman, so that way when Roman does come back, they can do the match. But right now, there's no clear indication as to when that'll be, because Roman has an immune system deficiency because of his leukemia. He might not even be able to feel safe to wrestle until next year. Legit, he might not feel safe to wrestle. Think about that. Even if the coronavirus ends up dying down a bit, it's still going to be tough because he has to go on the road and it's still going to be out there. So he might not ever wrestle again as far as full time, or at least for the end of the year. And Goldberg's very expensive, so they switched the belts to Braun Strowman. What can you do? It's what you expected. Couple of spears. Strowman kicked out. Went for the jackhammer. Strowman reversed it and pinned him. There were literally 2 moves in the entire match, unless you count Goldberg's front face lock. Now, the middle of the card actually had some pretty good wrestling. Now, the thing about this show is there was no crowd, and you can't really do wrestling without a crowd. You really can't. It's very hard because you need a crowd to get heat. You need a crowd to get people into stuff and to make all the big moments mean something. Strowman beating Goldberg in front of a crowd, even if it was a 20,000 seater or 10,000 seater, would have at least gotten a big reaction. But there's no reaction here. So without a crowd, it's very hard to watch wrestling, and I personally have not even been able to watch wrestling comfortably like this. I just can't. Now, that being said, the 3 middle matches on this show, they did the absolute best they could. And one of the advantages of having a show in an empty arena is that I think these guys figured out that they're not going to really be able to tell their story and play off the crowd. So what they did was they played off of each other. So one of the things that we got on this show was when they would be in there wrestling, they would be talking trash to each other, right? Literally talking trash. And you would hear them do it. In the Sami Zayn-Daniel Bryan match for the Intercontinental title, there's a lot of this. Sami Zayn was awesome in this match, all right? He was hilarious. And then my favorite match of the night was the triple threat tag team title match. What happened was The Miz and Morrison were supposed to defend the 3-way tag match, but The Miz got sick, and I guess one of the Usos got sick, so it wound up being the other Uso versus John Morrison versus Kofi Kingston in a ladder match for the title. These guys really put it on the line in front of no people, dude. I was really, surprised as to all the things they did. Real good, high-flying spots. There's a spot where Morrison hit a Spanish fly after walking the top rope like Elix Skipper did at Turning Point 2004. and doing a Spanish Fly. There was a spot where Kofi actually went through the ladder rungs and then got caught and thrown out. There was a spot where the Uso, I mean, it was hilarious, yo. Like, I done messed up your face. Like, he said that to him, dude. Like, that type of stuff was awesome. In the Seth Rollins-Kevin Owens match, that was interesting as well because, you know, it was fine for what it was. It didn't go too long. The matches were not that long tonight. It was a 3-hour show, like I said. What a weird show. And basically, and it's too bad because the video packages building up to the matches were pretty well done. And so what ended up happening was Kevin Owens had won the match by DQ, but he called Seth out to come back in or whatever. So they had another match. It was no DQ this time. And the finish was Kevin Owens actually jumped off of the WrestleMania sign, the Performance Center, on top of Seth Rollins. But again, what made it wacky was the fact that these guys were talking trash to each other, and you could hear it. Now, one thing we have to take into account about this show and tomorrow night's show is that these matches were all pre-taped. So because they were pre-taped, that means they could edit around any kind of blown spot. So if guys messed up, if there was like a blown spot or an accident or something happened, they could easily edit around it. And, you know, you'll never know. Because this is all taped. If it was live, you could tell. This is taped. So who knows how many mistakes were made in these matches. And we'll never know. Because WWE will keep the master footage and probably never release it. But because of that, you're not going to see any botches between tonight and tomorrow. If Goldberg blew up a minute in, he could have easily taken a break and he just cut and cut back. It's very easy to do this. They did these kind of things way back in the day in TV tapings in the 90s. And even during SmackDown tapings, when they would be taped on Tuesday, airing on Thursday or Friday, they would do things like this where they would edit around the matches. So keep that in mind. It's very hard to actually give these matches, quote, star ratings, which I hate anyways. I mean, I used to like them, but they're kind of silly now because it's all pre-taped. But still, like, you can give them credit because they did work hard. These guys did work really hard, and I give them credit for that, for sure. But it's a very hard show to watch, and it's probably one that I'm not going to ever watch again, honestly. There's a couple things that really bug me. Number one, Shayna Baszler. We had heard rumors that Shayna Baszler was not a favorite of Vince McMahon and that Paul Heyman had to push for her. She ends up losing to Becky Lynch in like 6 minutes. Now, I understand the logic behind this is that you want to save the title change for it to be in front of a crowd because Becky's been champion for a year. I do understand that logic. If that's where they're going with it and Shayna does beat Becky, that's good. But the fact that, like, it's not even... Like, the fact that it's not even, like, it was a 6-minute match. It was kind of a fluke win. Like, they built up Shayna to squash almost everybody in the last Chamber pay-per-view. And she ends up losing like that. Like, and then Becky comes in a semi-truck. Like, why would you drive a semi-truck to an arena? It's not even that cool. It was lame. It was one of the lamer parts of the show. And the show overall was kind of lame. But what can you do? I mean, I think they should have postponed the show until the summertime. They should have put everything on hold, done more promos, maybe done like a 1-hour show like the March to WrestleMania, like a TV special, WWE Network special. Like, okay, it's not WrestleMania, but we'll give you some matches, but the big ones will be later. No, they just gave us the show. So then we have the Boneyard match, okay? I don't know how I feel about this. I'm very conflicted about the Boneyard match. They've done stuff like this before. Okay, they have. But not to this level. I want to call this WWE Films Presents the Boneyard match. This was not a wrestling match. This was a movie. Basically the rules of the match, first of all, it wasn't in a graveyard. It was in a grave site in some, like, ranch in the middle of nowhere. Like some creepy looking ranch, and it was shot at night. Obviously, it wasn't live, but it was shot at night, and it was the last match of the show. This went on last. The Undertaker and Aj Styles. Now, this is, okay, this has to be seen to be believed. This was a movie. This was literally, I made a joke saying this is the best WWE film since 12 Rounds, and I think I feel that way, honestly. This was, I'm not supposed to be laughing at a main event the way I was, and I did not have a very good day today. I'm not supposed to be laughing at a main event. And I was freaking laughing, dude. I was laughing uproariously. And it's like, okay, so Taker shows up on a bicycle and they're playing music. And I don't mean the Undertaker's music. I mean they're playing like a random Metallica song. I couldn't even tell what band it was. Taker shows up. And someone in the comments is going to correct me. I'm sorry. I did not know what band it was. I apologize. Couldn't really hear it that clearly. So I apologize for not knowing what the band is. Okay, forgive me. They show up in the middle of nowhere in this weird, creepy ranch. And there's different camera angles. This is shot like a movie. And they're talking trash to each other. What's up, old man? Oh, what's up, Mark Calloway? You know, using edgy real names because, ooh, we got to do something. Taker's calling him Alan. Ooh, real names. And like... they proceed to have this match at this ranch where, oh my God, they have music playing during the match. Different kinds of music playing during the match for different, like, emotions. Like, this is on some, this is like a movie. Different camera angles. It was, I mean, again, Matt Hardy did stuff like this before at the compound. But as far as it being a WrestleMania main event, usually that's not what we get in these WrestleMania main events. But this was something else. So they're having this fight. It's more like a fight, and like the OC is there. They get taken out by Taker, including a tombstone on the roof of a house, which is freaking awesome. They get to the roof of the house, dude. I'm not even kidding. And like, I can't even describe it. So the way you win the match is they have like a gravesite set up, sort of like a buried alive match, but there's like a bulldozer or whatever, like a truck there, one of those dirt pusher trucks or whatever there. This was so wacky that I couldn't hate it. I know some wrestling fans are going to hate this. This was so wacky that I could not hate this. But, whoa, like, damn. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, AJ Styles tried to hit The Undertaker with a rock. This is like a scene out of Batman, dude. So, basically what ends up happening is at one point in the match, the Druids show up, and they surround The Undertaker, and it becomes this, like... dude, it was like literally like a movie. That's the best way I could put it. He's fighting them off or whatever. Taker... AJ gets Taker in the... he gets him in the gravesite, and he's about to drop the dirt on him from the truck. And then Undertaker teleports behind AJ. So he's actually using his powers in a match for once. And that was awesome. And so they fight to like the roof of this house. And AJ tries to run away. Taker uses his powers again to create a wall of fire to stop him from running away. And then Taker chokeslams AJ off the top of the roof. And he's all tired and laid out. And he's talking trash to him. Oh, I guess I'm not past my prime, huh? Guess I'm not past my prime. Throws him in this pot of dirt and then covers him, and that's the end of the match. And then they reveal a tombstone that says, Here lies AJ Styles, 1977 to 2020. Come on, bro. Then Taker gets on his motorcycle and drives off. Because he was the American Badass during this match. Okay, this is not a WrestleMania that's going to be remembered fondly. Obviously for COVID-19 and real life issues like that. But, my God, I couldn't hate it because it was just too wacky for me to hate. I smiled. I smiled as I'm watching this because I just couldn't believe it. I will be coming back tomorrow night with a review of night 2. Also, there's going to be a review on the K-Fabulous Lucha Brothers Wrestling Show. Go to iTunes, type in K-Fabulous Lucha Brothers Podcast, and it's me and Brandon Draven. We're going to be reviewing this show, both parts put together. It'll be up sometime early this week, so we'll have a podcast review going even more in depth than I did. I didn't even talk about Elias versus Corbin because I don't care. It's not really a big deal. We'll go more in depth on this together, and I'll have a chance to kind of, think about this a bit more because it's a lot to take in, dude. What an insane show this was. And one that, I got to give them credit. They tried their best to entertain us, and in a strange way, the Boneyard match was entertaining. We'll just put it that way. I have no idea what to say. It needs to be seen to be believed. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all on night 2.